The Frankie DeBusk Show is a special presentation of the Pioneer Sports Network. The Frankie DeBusk Show with head coach Frankie DeBusk and the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton. Brought to you by...
You're in a Bojangles town, Greenville, home of the Bojangles famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Bojangles, title sponsor for the Frankie DeBusk Show. Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda, home of the big deal, located on the 11E bypass in Greenville. Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Greenville Federal Bank, celebrating over 50 years of service in Greenville and Greene County. Green Coach Tours, proudly serving the traveling public since 1945. Grand Rental Station, anything you'll ever need to rent or buy. Andrew Johnson Bank, a strong heritage, a stronger future. Home-owned and operated with locations in Johnson City, Jonesboro, Morristown, Cleveland, and Greenville. Creekside Markets, don't pass by, stop by, with 3 locations in Greene County. Special consideration from Comcast Cable through Xfinity.
And now, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
It's the second oldest football rivalry in the state of Tennessee. It's Tusculum and Carson Newman, but the 19th ranked Carson Newman Eagles weren't very nice hosts for homecoming as they defeat the Tusculum Pioneers. Both teams combined for over 1,100 yards in the contest, but Carson Newman, 4th in the country in rushing offensive yardage, gain 582 yards on the ground, lead wire to wire, and knock off the Pioneers by a final of 45-17. In the 43rd meeting between these teams, Carson Newman picks up their 31st win. They get their 5th straight, and now they've won 9 of the last 10. We'll talk about it when the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles, continues right after this.
That's a wrap, Scotty. Let's break for lunch, guys.
All right, it's Bo time.
Cajun filet sandwich.
Right here.
Hey, I had a Cajun filet sandwich.
Hey, relax, man. We got more. Smoked sausage biscuit.
That's me.
But you have a Cajun filet sandwich.
So what's your point?
Man, you can't have breakfast and lunch together. That doesn't work.
Works for me. I call it brunch.
Head to Bojangles and try our seasoned hickory-flavored smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit for just 99 cents. Bojangles, it's Bo time.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville, or on the web at homeofthebigdeal.com.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles, the Pioneers, and the Carson Newman Eagles. Again, meeting for the 43rd time, and Carson Newman had come in kind of dominating this series over the last few years, but the Pioneers haven't won a conference championship without beating Carson Newman. What had happened? 2003 and 2008. Coach Frankie DeBusk, they had never won down there at Old Mossy Creek, and it was homecoming at Carson Newman. I'm talking about 1998, since maybe the modern era of Pioneer football history against the Carson Newman Eagles. Now you've got to go back to 1934. The last time the Pioneers won in Jefferson City. They didn't play it at Burke Tar. It is the Taj Mahal, we call it, of the South Atlantic Conference, and the Pioneers were playing at the new Burke Tar towards the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex down there, and a lot of things have changed, and a lot of people showed up for the football game as we welcome in Pioneer coach Frankie DeBusk. I said inadvertently 582 yards on the ground, but it was 558. No matter what it was, Carson Newman is an extremely talented running team. Brandon Baker and Tyron Douglas are back. They're healthy. They look good, and they made a big difference in the game Saturday.
They're really good at what they do, Brian. They're going to run the football, and they have success on anybody and everybody they play. And I really felt like we played pretty good defensively early in the first half, and had we scored some points offensively, it'd have been a different ball game. But we let it get out of hand in the second half, and our kids started hanging their heads, and we got to respond a little better than that. But when you go into a rival game and you're in the ball game, and you know that if you'd have made a couple plays in the first half, you very easily could have been leading the ball game, and you didn't make those plays. And then you start the second half, and it sort of starts again. It's hard to keep fighting through all that. And I've been there as a player and been there as a coach and understand how it works.
I think a lot of things I was impressed with in the game. Pioneers moved the ball. However, it's things that we haven't had come up and bite us this year. A fumble, an interception at a key time, or whether it's just we weren't able to generate a first down. And that was we've been able to do that this year, and it was kind of interesting we weren't able to do that.
Well, I think back to the very first drive. We get 5 yards on the first play of the game, and we jump off sides. So instead of it being 2nd and 5, it's 2nd and 10. It changes everything.
Yeah.
We're shooting ourselves in the foot so much offensively. We have way too many procedure penalties. We shouldn't be jumping around like we are. And then you had some drop balls in there, and you had a fumble in there, and you had a turnover in there, and we didn't score. And we've had 2 or 3 games this year where we just haven't scored points. And when you play a good football team like Carson Newman who's going to score, you've got to find a way to match it. And we didn't do that at all on Saturday.
It's kind of the Pioneers right now offensively, just a little bit in a scoring funk. 9 points against Newberry, now 17 against the Carson Newman Eagles. Well, without further ado, let's take a look at your first half highlights presented by Bojangles. The Pioneers, again, had an outstanding start, or at least they thought they would have defensively, but Carson Newman kind of put in and took it to the Pioneers. Pioneers get the football, they win the toss, but again, that procedure penalty, and they had to punt the ball away, and Carson Newman would have the football in very good field position. Wasn't a great punt. Again, it was an interesting Saturday as well with the windy conditions, the overcast conditions. I think it was going to be a lot cooler. And, Coach, you didn't get off to the start you wanted. Carson Newman jumps out on top 7-0 before you really put together a nice drive.
Well, we didn't do what we needed to do offensively, and then we missed the tackle on that touchdown run there. We've got to get them on the ground and get the ball back offensively and finally have some things happen. That's Justin Houston again. Justin's sophomore from Cleveland, just having an unbelievable year and just really proud of his efforts. And there's big number 40, Fernando Smith, true freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, that was playing like a man on Saturday, was moving the chains when we needed to. And he and Isaac Robinson, both running backs, I'm sure we'll see him here in a minute. But it's a big-time run right there now by Fernando, just breaking tackles, getting positive yards. He just has a tremendous, tremendous bright future for our program.
Fernando's longest run of the day right there of 17 yards. A pass Deion Hicks will say, you know what, Coach, I don't care that I was double-teamed. I should have had that ball.
He said it going in at halftime. He dropped 3 balls in the end zone that he's got to make, and I agree. I wish he would make them. Those are hard catches, but Deion's a good enough player to come down with 1 or 2 of those, and unfortunately didn't. And here we keep handing it off to Fernando, and they just can't tackle him right now. We just need to keep giving him the football and doing all the things that we're doing, and they end up changing what they're doing because we're running the ball as well. And again, our kids up front were doing a good job, and Fernando was doing a good job, and we were having some success.
Yeah, they went from a 3-down line set to a 4-down line set. You felt like you had a matchup go to Deion Hicks, but not bad defense either by the Carson Newman Eagles in the secondary, I will say that. Bo, little miscommunication here with Wes Powell, settled for a field goal attempt for Logan Cornelius, a 27-yarder, his longest attempt of the year, and it's good. He's 4 for 4 on the year. The Pioneers trail 7-3.
That's all right, Brian. I'm taking where we are. They scored. We get the ball back, drive down the field, and we're going to stop them here defensively, make them punt the football, give us another chance, and things are going all right for us. We just got to keep playing and keep making plays. It's a good play here by Evan Dansby, a junior from the Augusta, Georgia area, making a big play for us there and keeping that young man from catching the football.
Evan Dansby again with a nice defensive play, couple of tackles, couple of passes defended, but this is the thing that kills you about Carson Newman. You don't convert. Pioneers are unable to move the football, and all it took was Brandon Baker right up the middle. And again, it was just one block that took care of the entire situation.
Well, we had miscommunication. Who had the dive? No one did, actually, and got to do a better job of getting them on the ground. Here's another true freshman, Isaac Robinson from up in Virginia. Just, gosh, look how talented he is, and I'm telling you, those two kids are going to make us a better football team back there, handing the ball off to them.
Run the ball like that, get it to who probably could be an All-American this year, Justin Houston. Again, another double-digit day receiving, triple-digit day receiving yards-wise, 10 catches on the day for Justin Houston. That one went for 31. He's so elusive out in space too, Coach.
He's got a little special something about him. Him with the ball in his hands in space is just a special young man. And you know, we've here we just have a young man trying like crazy to get an extra yard or two, and he's got to hang on to the football. And we almost got it, and they end up getting on it, and it's just a drive stopper that just kills you there.
Kenny Funny there, a great block by Deion Hicks, and it's just kind of a momentum type thing. At the end of the first quarter, Carson Newman leading at 14-3. We go into the second quarter now. Pioneers get some fortune. Chaz Mulder jumps on a ball, jarred free by Dustin Lang.
Great tackle by Dustin, jarred it loose there, and big Chaz Cheeto Mulder gets on it. Chaz is a junior from the Atlanta area. Dustin is a senior from the Atlanta area. Those two kids are just really playing hard for us defensively and excited about what they're able to bring to the table. We give the ball back to Isaac Robinson, who converts there and does a great job. And here I thought this catch here, the one that he great throw, great catch, gives us some momentum, goes up and catches it at its highest point. Just really, really proud of Deion going up there and believing that the ball is his and coming down with it. And Bo gave him a chance, and we get some points on the board.
2 catches on the day for Deion Hicks, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year, had just 26 yards receiving. You had some momentum. It's 14-10, and Carson Newman comes right back, keeps it on the ground. DeAndre Thomas, who had 182 yards rushing, gets into the end zone. He had 2 touchdowns, and Carson Newman jumps up 21-10. A little more momentum here. I believe it was Brian Alexander who may have gotten a piece of this.
I believe it was B.A. Great job by our defensive football team. We gave them the ball back there and with our backs against the wall, and just really proud of how our kids responded and ended up keeping them off the scoreboard right there before the half. And it's 21-10 at halftime, and we've got this drive coming up, Brian. We did not convert on it, but great job by our defensive football team.
They had 8 minutes and 56 seconds that drive before they ended the field goal attempt with the block. So they got nothing out of 9 minutes with the football. And you hit West Powell across the middle. Jonathan Diliberto is going to make a catch here coming up pretty soon. But you can see Bo Cordell still likes this matchup, still wants to go down to Deion Hicks.
Yeah, that corner did a good job defending, and we were trying to give him a chance to catch it. And I think we caught 1 or 2 on the day, and he defended the rest of them. But we kill ourselves here with some dang penalties, man. We're moving the football and just little things here and there, and we're not converting offensively. If we could have scored and made it 21-17, I really believe it would have been a different ball game.
It's a day for the Pioneers again. Bo Cordell, 360 yards passing, 27 of 45. Making something here. We're not going to see it, but Diliberto, great with the catch, kept his feet in, and it was so exciting for everybody else. We get a penalty for the sideline warning, which was unsportsmanlike, and that's a 15-yard penalty.
It's first down, but unfortunately we lose 15 yards. The official indicated he ran into one of our players over there, and he probably did. We're not very good on the sidelines. We got to be better than we are and get out of the dang on way.
Right, so Bo Cordell incomplete this time, looking for either Justin Houston or Deion Hicks. Handed off again. Fernando Smith was a beast on the afternoon and right up the middle again, just for about 6 yards there. But Bo Cordell, again, the pressure comes to him. Has to get the ball, has to get rid of it early, and then really is put under some pressure here right before the end of the first half.
Yeah, unfortunately, they jar the ball loose here and end up getting on it, and it's a game of turnovers, and we got to do a better job of hanging on the ball.
So the Pioneers at the end of the first half trail the Carson Newman Eagles by a score of 21-10. And as mentioned, haven't won at Mossy Creek or at Berktar Stadium since the modern era, 1998. Haven't ever won there. It's 8 straight meetings, and right now only down 21-10 on a cold, blustery Saturday afternoon in Jefferson City. Back, take a look at your second half highlights right after this. This is the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles.
That's a wrap, Scotty. Let's break for lunch, guys.
All right, it's Bo time.
Cajun filet sandwich.
Right here.
Hey, I had a Cajun filet sandwich.
Hey, relax, man. We got more. Smoked sausage biscuit.
That's me.
But you have a Cajun filet sandwich.
So what's your point?
Man, you can't have breakfast and lunch together. That doesn't work.
Works for me. I call it brunch.
Head to Bojangles and try our seasoned hickory-flavored smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit for just 99 cents. Bojangles, it's Bo time.
Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo proudly serves Tusculum College and supports Pioneer football. Sodexo, making every day a better day.
So Cornelius will attempt a 41-yard effort. The kick is away, end over end toward the uprights, and he splits them.
Back to the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles. Pioneers trailed the 19th-ranked Carson Newman Eagles by a score of 21-10 at the half. We're joined by Pioneer coach Frankie DeBusk. Coach, second half, you know you're going to be kicking it off, and I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on that defense. Let's get a stop and let's get this offense going. And well, I don't think you could have asked for a better start to your second half.
You know, the first half ended there with us having some misfortune and not converting and not scoring. And had we scored, it'd been different. But we told the kids at halftime, our team, that defensively we can take the field and stop them, get the ball back. We were moving the ball offensively. Some good things should happen. Well, our defense took the field and did exactly what we asked them to do, and we sputtered a little bit more offensively. And quite frankly, Brian, from that point on, it just felt like it was getting away from us.
It's a second half where the Pioneers kind of did let that thing get away from. Let's take a look at your second half highlights presented by Bojangles. And we pick up the action, the first drive once again. And again, Tucker Bolton, it seemed like I called his name about all night long, but he comes up with the big play here, the only sack of the afternoon for the Pioneers.
Great effort there by Tucker. Looked like Tucker is a freshman from Bradley Central High School down in Cleveland, Tennessee. Looked like we had some other guys in on the play, but Tucker actually got nominated for Player of the Week this week. He's just starting to really grow into his own. And here we got some kids up front flying around making the play. I think that was Kashad Lyons and Josh Davis, two young men that are fighting like crazy. And we stop them. We do exactly what we felt like we needed to do. And Bo hits Justin here, and I think we convert there and get a big first down and hand the ball back off to Isaac, who's running it exceptionally hard, and feel like we got some good things happening.
First down pickup for the Pioneers, a 4-yard gain, then a 1-yard gain, and a third down and 5, what the Pioneers were able to do in that first half, and that was convert on third downs. They just weren't able to get into the red zone in that first half. And then Justin Houston across the middle, again a lot of pressure by Carson Newman, keeps him short of the sticks, and the Pioneers would be forced to punt. And Logan Haynes, a 35-yard average on the year. It's good enough for 4th in the South Atlantic Conference. Gets off his best effort of the day.
Great job here. He's gotten a lot better doing what we're asking him to do, and this is a great punt. Great job covering. I've seen freshman Rico Jones down the field there. Rico was a Special Teams Player of the Week. He's a true freshman. We're counting a lot of big things on him, and unfortunately they get the football back and things just start going for them and against us, and we start struggling through it a little bit.
A couple of touchdowns back-to-back for Carson Newman, and then some more good fortune. The ball goes out of bounds on a kickoff. Pioneers have good field position, but you can always have good field position when you throw it to this kid. That's Justin Houston, 10 catches, 162 yards on the day. That's his longest reception of 37 yards. Justin is the #1 receiver in the South Atlantic Conference, top 5 in the nation in his yards, 2nd in the league. Again, top 5 in the nation, but that one play that you can't have, Dante Thomas, interception of Bo Cordell.
It was really a good interception by their kid there, and I'm sure Bo would like to have thrown that a little better, thrown a little more out in front of him. And, you know, again, Brian, we're just starting to second guess a lot of things. We're not doing our alignment assignment responsibilities, and they start executing a little better than we were.
And they start scoring once again now 42-10. Andy Hibbett goes for 52 yards on that play. Pioneers offensively get it back, and see a little bit of the frustration come in. Bo Cordell again under some pressure. Javaris Neal, a preseason all-conference selection, knocking the pass attempt down. Bo looking to go to Deion Hicks once again. Boy, they had his number when that ball was in the air. He had 3 or 4 guys around him much of the afternoon, but found a little comfort zone here with Wes Powell across the middle. And really, Wes made this first down 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was a good call by Mark, getting us a good screen play there. They were putting some pressure on us, and a good throw by Bo, and Wes ends up catching that football, junior from Lower Alabama, and making something happen for us.
Wes Powell, 4 catches for 66 yards on the day, and still to come, his touchdown reception. Jonathan Diliberto struggling to get what he could get. Pioneers would have a 4th down and 3 and an incomplete pass, unable to convert. Carson Newman would go down, kick a field goal to make it a 45-10 game. Pioneers would take over, this time on their own 25. Isaac Robinson for 6 yards, I should say. Bo Cordell again looking for Wes Powell, and the Pioneers on the move offensively.
We're starting to do some good things here, and you know, Carson Newman's got some of their 2nd and 3rd guys in, but we still need to do what we're doing. We need to execute, and thought we were going to throw a touchdown pass right there, and Bo gave Jonathan a chance, but they converted on it and did a good job breaking up the play.
Cordell to Isaac Robinson. I think the most impressive thing about Isaac is his ability to catch out of the backfield.
Does a great job with that, Brian. He's really been impressive, especially on game day, throwing him the football and him making good things. Here he is again, and you know, he's special. He's going to be a special football player, and I thought he was going to squeak out of here and score.
Yeah, Isaac Robinson, a 22-yard reception there, and then Bo Cordell back of the end zone to the 6'10" tight end, Wes Powell, who hauls it in for the score for the Pioneers.
we needed some good things to happen. We kept fighting as a football team, and happy for West there to get in the end zone.
A Pioneer team that falls by a final of 45-17. With that touchdown, the Carson Newman Eagles would just kind of run out the rest of the clock in the game. Again, frustration for your team, Coach. I'm going to read some of the things. Both teams combined over 1,100 yards. Carson Newman 628 on the day. Bo Cordell 487 yards of offense generated by the team. He's 360 yards through the air. Pursuit of the Division II passing record. We'll have to wait at least one more day. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But Brian Alexander, didn't touch on him a whole lot. 17, 18, 20, his last 3 games in tackles. Here's a guy that you've moved to the middle of the field so that you could have him make more plays as it is. And they may not necessarily always be behind the line of scrimmage, but he gives you about 100% effort every play.
Brian's just a great young man that's given it everything he has in his last go-around here. And he knows he's got 4 football games left now. And he's really about the only one over there that's making a lot of tackles for us. We've had some other guys sporadically make some plays, but he's the one that's consistently been making them, and I'm happy for him. He's very, very close to breaking the Tusculum record for tackles, which I hope he can find a way to get here either against Wingate or the next week. And just happy he's having a good senior year. And we need to win some ball games. Bo's going to break a record, BA's going to break a record, and we need to get some W's in the column to help all that become a little sweeter.
I think that's the point. More defense for the day. Dustin Lane, 12 tackles. Chaz Mulder had a career high 11 tackles. Lorante Archie, 10 tackles. Wayne Soliai, Josh Davis, each had 8 tackles on the day. So a lot of guys made tackles, but that just also shows you that Carson Newman was on the field quite a bit of the time, 35 minutes in the football game. And stats overrated, I get that. You don't always have to be on the field just to score. Carson Newman that time did, I think, a better job. They can hit the home run with the run, but I think what you did is you made them earn a lot of the points that they had, but their time of possession shows that.
Absolutely, and it goes back to we didn't convert offensively when we needed to, so we put our kids on the field. They had long drives. We got to do a better job defensively of getting off the field, but again, Ken Sparks even said it, and I have to agree with him. We're a better defensive football team today than we've been in a long time. Back to those records, back to those comments, we still got to find ways to get W's. We're good enough to win. We just got to find a way to capitalize on the mistakes that they make and then minimize ours and win some games.
Some of the players of the week, we'll meet them when we come back. Carson Newman Eagles, 19th in the country. LR does their bit. They knock off Newberry this past week, and now they are in the driver's seat for a South Atlantic Conference title, but they still have the Carson Newman Eagles to play, and that actually happens in the next week. We'll talk about our game coming up, our players of the week, and that's when we return right after this. This is the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Bojangles.
That's a wrap, Scotty. Let's break for lunch, guys.
All right, it's Bo time.
Cajun filet sandwich.
Right here.
Hey, I had a Cajun filet sandwich.
Hey, relax, man. We got more. Smoked sausage biscuit.
That's me.
But you have a Cajun filet sandwich.
So what's your point?
Man, you can't have breakfast and lunch together. That doesn't work.
Works for me. I call it brunch.
Head to Bojangles and try our seasoned hickory-flavored smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit for just 99 cents. Bojangles, it's
Your Greenville Light and Power System, an electrical distributor of TVA, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Your Greenville Light and Power is dedicated to excellence in service and reliability. Visit online at glps.net.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles. The Tusculum Pioneers fall to Carson Newman, a final of 45-17. It's time now to meet our players of the week. We'll start on offense with our Sodexo offensive players of the week. They're the running backs for the Pioneers, and they ran extremely hard this past Saturday. Fernando Smith, the freshman out of Baltimore, Maryland from Sherwood High School, 13 carries, 75 yards, 2 receptions, and 19 yards, but his rushing average a 5.8 average. On the year now, 227 yards with 7 touchdowns, leading the Pioneer charge. Isaac Robinson, freshman out of Palmyra, Virginia, Monticello High School, finished with 7 carries, 60 yards. That's an 8.6 yard average, including 2 receptions for 30 yards. Now on the year, already surpassing the rushing total of the leading rusher from a year ago, Brian Marshall, 382 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns on the ground as well. Our Greenville Light and Power Defensive Player of the Week. pretty much staple him in the rest of the year. Brian Alexander is having a tremendous season. The senior, the preseason All-America out of Union Point, Georgia, Greene County High School, a new career high, 20 tackles in the game. Get this, 17, 18, and 20 tackles in his last 3 games per game. Now a career 331 career tackles, which is second all-time. Brian Alexander needs just 10 tackles to surpass Jacques Sessions' all-time career leader in tackles for a career at Tusculum College. Jacques Sessions' record stands at 340. Our Green Coach Tours Special Teams Players of the Week. Shane Patterson, the sophomore out of Bound Brook, New Jersey, and Bound Brook High School, had 2 carries for 6 yards on the day, but also 2 tackles on special teams. Rico Jones, the Wake Forest, North Carolina product, just a freshman out of Heritage High School, was outstanding on special teams. Our Andrew Johnson Bank call of the game. They're usually spectacular when he brings them in, and Deion Hicks' touchdown was nothing less than spectacular.
Hicks trying to get him in the game as Cordell works from the gun. There's the snap with time. Looks one direction, goes deep into the corner of the end zone. Hicks, touchdown Pioneers! Touchdown, Deion Hicks out leaping Dante Thomas for the ball, scores the touchdown, and the Pioneers inch a little closer, down 14-9. Deion's 3rd touchdown reception of the year. That's a thing of beauty. That'll make the highlight reel.
It's time now for our Creekside Market post-game wrap-up. In the game for the Pioneers, they rushed for 127 yards. Carson Newman, 557 on the day. Net passing yards, Bo Cordell creeping up on that record, which we've talked about, 360 yards on the day. Carson Newman threw for just 71 yards. Bo was 27 of 45, a couple of touchdowns, but an interception on the day. Total offense, Pioneers had 72 plays, 487 yards, a 6.8-yard average. Carson Newman, 84 plays, 628 yards, a 7.5-yard average for the Carson Newman Eagles. Punting, Pioneers punted 5 times for 175 yards for a 35-yard average. Carson Newman punted 3 times for a 40.7-yard average on the day. Time of possession, Carson Newman 35-48. Their second quarter was the Achilles heel. They outgained the Pioneers in time of possession by 10-5. Tusculum had it 24 minutes, 12 seconds. Tusculum good on 3rd down, 7 of 16. Carson Newman was 6 of 15. In the red zone, the Pioneers were 2 for 2. Carson Newman, 4 of 5. We'll come back and wrap it up with Pioneer head coach Frankie DeBusk. That's when the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles, continues after this.
Creekside Market has 3 locations in southern Greene County to serve. So while you're traveling to or from any game, stop by and pick up a Hunt Brothers Pizza for those football Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. Creekside Market just off the 107. Locations on the Asheville Highway, Camp Creek, and the Irwin Highway. Creekside Markets in Greene County. Anything you'll ever need to rent or buy is at Grand Rental Station. Business, commercial, or residential, from forklifts to backhoes to tents, party goods, wedding supplies, and much more. On the Andrew Johnson Highway in Greenville, Grand Rental Station, 639-6160. Green Coach Charters and Tours has been proudly serving the traveling public for over 65 years and is the official carrier of Tusculum College Athletics. If you have never traveled by Green Coach, may we invite you to join them for an exciting travel adventure. Visit online at greencoach.com.
Whenever there's a project to make our community a better place to live, you'll always find our local merchants right there doing all they can to help. From sponsoring the kids' ball teams to serving barbecue at a community picnic, they're always there. Be community-minded. Shop and invest locally. Greenville Federal Bank, member FDIC. Banking made easy.
Community-minded, just like you. That's a wrap, Scotty. Let's break for lunch, guys.
All right, it's bow time.
Cajun filet sandwich.
Right here.
Hey, I had a Cajun filet sandwich.
Hey, relax, man. We got more. Smoked sausage biscuit.
That's me.
But you have a Cajun filet sandwich.
So what's your point?
Man, you can't have breakfast and lunch together. That doesn't work.
Works for me. I call it brunch.
Head to Bojangles and try our seasoned hickory-flavored smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit for just 99 cents. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Welcome Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, fueled by Bojangles. Pioneers fall to Carson Newman, 45-17 this past Saturday. Now take on Joe Reich's Wingate Bulldogs. Robbie Nallenweg coming in here, a player of the week a couple of years ago, actually a couple of weeks ago, I should say. And for Robbie, last year against Mars Hill, he threw for 586 in a loss to the Mars Hill Lions last year. Bo Cordell this year almost throws for 600 yards, establishes that new school conference record. Interesting game going on, I think, this Saturday, or at least it could be this Saturday. Bo Cordell needs just 34 yards to break West Liberty Zach Amidro's record all-time, 14,733 yards. Safe bet that he'll probably get that Saturday.
Well, I sure hope he does. I mean, I know Bo is very upset at talking a lot about an individual record and our success not being where we want it to be with wins and losses. But this is a record that will probably never be broken or touched in our tenure. Again, and Bo's had an unbelievable career, and I hope he really enjoys the fact that he's going to break that record Saturday if all things fall into place, and then we'll look back on it, and he'll look back on it in years to come, and it'll be a whole lot more special. But we got to do our part, and I'd like to break the record on a winning Saturday, and we can sure do that if we'll execute. Wingate's got a good football team, but they're just like we are. They're sitting at 3-3, and we're 3-4, and they've beaten some of the similar opponents we have and lost to similar opponents we've lost to, so it should be a good ball game.
Crazy day in the South Atlantic Conference just this last Saturday. Wingate looked kind of as if they were dead and out of it. Then all of a sudden they had a dominant performance. Robbie Nallenweg was a player of the week this past week, and they'll come in. It may not be necessarily the same type of offense that we've seen from Wingate with the type of wide receivers and skill set, but obviously anytime a quarterback back there with that type of experience, you really got to be on your maybe one of the first weeks for your defense that your secondary is definitely going to be tested.
Well, we'll be challenged in the secondary. Where our real challenge is can we put pressure on the passer? We got to get our defensive line and linebackers to get off blocks and put some heat on him, and don't give him all day long to throw it. And we'll have a good plan in place for that. I look forward to seeing how much pressure we can put on him, and then we got to respond in the secondary. They're going to throw and catch it just like we do. And now he's got some experience. He's got some weapons out there. He doesn't have the weapons he's had in the past, but he does have some weapons, and we'll be challenged. It's going to be a challenging day for our football team. I'm looking forward to it. I think our kids are really looking forward to it. We've had a great week of practice. We've got some attitude adjustments happening right now in a good way, and I think we'll come out fired up and ready to play Tusculum football.
It's Sports Hall of Fame weekend, so an interesting weekend to bring some former players come back here to Tusculum and get a chance to see the Pioneers. Look, might be a little bit cool, so bring a jacket, right?
Looks like it's going to be in the mid-50s to upper 50s, and it's going to be true football weather in East Tennessee.
Come on out and check that out. Many thanks to all of those who helped support the Frankie DeBusk TV show. Perry Morgan for all of the video, for Nathan Humbert for putting it all together, Pioneer head coach Frankie DeBusk for sitting here putting up with me, talking about records where he wants just wins. So, in the words of Al Davis, the late Al Davis, just win, baby. The Pioneers take on the Wingate Bulldogs. We hope you'll join us on the Pioneer Sports Network here in the friendly confines of the Nicemonger Sports Complex, Pioneer Field. Come on out early for the Pioneer P tailgate party. Our coverage will begin at 12:30. Kickoff is at 1:30 on AM 1450 WSMG or worldwide through TusculumPioneers.com, where you can also get a live video stream of the football game with the radio commentary as well. So for Coach Frankie DeBusk, I'm Brian Stayton. Until next week, go Pioneers.
This has been the Frankie DeBusk Show with head coach Frankie DeBusk, featuring coaches' interviews, player spotlights, highlights, and statistical breakdowns.
Presented by... You're in a Bojangles town, Greenville, home of the Bojangles famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Bojangles, title sponsor for the Frankie DeBusk Show. Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda, home of the big deal, located on the 11E bypass in Greenville. Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Greenville Federal Bank, celebrating over 50 years of service in Greenville and Greene County. Green Coach Tours, proudly serving the traveling public since 1945. Grand Rental Station, anything you'll ever need to rent or buy. Andrew Johnson Bank, a strong heritage, a stronger future. Home owned and operated with locations in Johnson City, Jonesboro, Morristown, Cleveland, and Greenville. Creekside Markets. Don't pass by, stop by, with 3 locations in Greene County. Special consideration from Comcast Cable through Xfinity.
The Frankie DeBusk Show is a special presentation of the Pioneer Sports Network.